strides. Madame Arcadi and Mrs. Bradman and I will have our coffee here after dinner. And Mr. Conham and Dr. Bradman will have theirs in the dining room. Is that quite clear? Yes. And when you're serving dinner, Edith, try to remember to do it calmly and methodically. Yes. As you are not in the Navy, it is unnecessary to do everything in the double. Yes. Now don't get the ice. Yes. Not try to run, Edith? Yes.
No sign of the advancing wards?
Oh, not yet.
No ice.
It's coming. I've been trying to discourage Edith and being so polite to fleet of foot. You mustn't mind if everything's a bit slow motion tonight.
Well, I shall welcome it. The last few weeks have been extremely agitated. What do you suppose induced Agnes to leave us and go get married?
The reason was becoming increasingly obvious.
Nobody cares about that sort of thing these days. She could have popped into the cottage hospital, had it, and then popped out again.
Her social life had been seriously undermined.
You must keep Edith in the house more. Oh, I left my pipe on the dressing table, Edith. Would you go and fetch it for me? There now.
Oh, you took her by surprise.
Dry martini, I think, don't you?
Oh, yes, dear. I expect Madame Arcadi will want something sweeter.
Well, we'll have this one for ourselves, anyhow.
Oh, dear.
Oh, what is it?
I have a feeling this evening is going to be awful.
Oh, it will probably be funny, but not awful.
You must promise not to catch my eye. If I giggle, and I'm very likely to, it will ruin everything.
You mustn't. You must be dead serious, and if possible, a little intense. Can't hurt the old girl's feelings, however funny she is.
But why the Bradmans, darling? He's as skeptical as we are. He'll probably say the most dreadful things.
I've warned him, but you see, there must be more than 3 people at a seance, and we couldn't have the vicar and his wife because A, they're dreary, and B, probably wouldn't have approved at all. It had to be Bradmans. There you are. Thank you, Edith. You might make her walk around with a book on her head like they do at deportment lessons. Don't have another.
But darling, it's most awfully strong.
Never mind.
You're still here to be helped to you when you were thinking something out, anyway.
Every now and again, when she concentrated, but she didn't concentrate very often.
Oh, I do wish I'd known her.
I wonder if you would have liked her.
I'm sure I should. As you talk of her, she sounds enchanting. Yes, I'm sure I should have liked her because, you know, I've never for an instant felt in the least jealous of her.
Poor Elvira.
Does it still hurt when you think of her?
No, not really. Sometimes I almost wish she did. I feel rather guilty.
I wonder if I died before you grow tired of me, you'd forget me so soon.
What a horrible thing to say.
No, I think it's interesting.
Well, to start off with, I hadn't forgotten Elvira. I remember her very distinctly indeed. I remember her gay charm when she threw away over something, and her extreme acidity when she didn't. I remember how badly she played all games, and how cross she got when she didn't win. I remember her physical attractiveness, which was tremendous, and her spiritual integrity, which was nil.
You cannot remember something that was nil.
I remember how morally untidy she was.
Was she more physically attractive than I am?
It's a very tiresome question, dear, and fully deserves the wrong answer.
You really are very sweet.
Thank you.
And a little naive, too.
Why?
Because you imagine that I mind about Elvira being more physically attractive than I am.
I should think any woman would mind. If it were true, though perhaps I'm old-fashioned in my view of female psychology.
Not exactly old-fashioned, darling. Just a bit didactic.
How do you mean?
It's didactic to attribute to one type of the defects of another type. For instance, because you know perfectly well that Elvira would mind terribly if you found another woman more attractive physically than she was, it doesn't necessarily follow that the guy should. Elvira was a more physical person than I, I'm certain of it. It's all a question of degree.
Oh, I love you, my love.
I know you do. But not the wildest stretch of imagination to describe it as the first fine fearless rapture.
Would you like it to be?
Good God, no.
Is that shade too vehement?
Neither of us have a lesson, Charles. We've neither of us exactly led prudent lives, have we? And we've both been married before. Careless rapture at this stage would be incongruous and embarrassing.
I hope I haven't been in any way a disappointment, dear.
Don't be silly, Leon.
Your first husband was a great deal older than you, wasn't he? I shouldn't like to think that you missed out all along the line.
There are moments, Charles, when you go too far.
I'm sorry.
As far as last-wish female psychology goes, there is a rather strong vein of it in you.
I've heard that said about Julius Caesar.
Julius Caesar is neither here nor there.
He may be for all we know. We'll ask Madame Arcadi.
You're awfully annoying when you're determined to be waited at all costs. Well, Mr. Basilius.
That's exactly what Elvira used to say.
I never imagined. physically triumphant as she was, and she was entirely lacking in perception.
Oh, darling Boo.
There you go again.
As I think I mentioned before, I love you, my love.
Oh, Vera.
Didn't that light, camaraderie kiss mollify you at all?
You're very annoying, you know who you are. When I said poor Elvira came from the heart, you must have bewildered her so horribly.
Oh, don't I ever bewilder you at all?
And for an instant, I knew every trick.
That's probably the brand.
So it might be Madame Arcadi.
No, she'll come on a scooter. She always goes everywhere on a scooter.
Really a spirit of you, girl.
Shall I go, or shall we let Edith have a fling?
Wait a minute and see what happens.
Do you think she heard?
She's probably in one knee in a free sprinting position waiting for the cook to open the kitchen door.
Oh, steady, Edith.
Oh, yes, sir. Doctor, Mrs. Brennan.
We're not late, are we? I got back from the hospital a half an hour ago.
Of course not. Madame Arcadi isn't even here yet.
Oh, that must have been her. We passed her down the hill and said I thought it was. Oh, then she won't be long. I'm so glad you're able to come. We've been looking forward to it. I feel really quite excited.
Well, that was good. I made her promise.
There was no need. I'm absolutely thrilled. I've only seen Madame Arcadi 2 or 3 times in the village, and she's never done anything at all peculiar, if you know what I mean.
Dry martini.
By all means.
It is funny, isn't it? I mean, anybody doing it as a profession.
I believe it's very lucrative.
Do you believe in it, Mrs. Condamine? Do you think there's anything genuine about it at all? I'm afraid not. But I do think it's interesting how easily people allow themselves to be deceived. But she must believe it herself, doesn't she? Or is the whole business a thing?
You know, I suspect the worst. A real professional charlatan, if I say. That's what I'm hoping for, anyhow. The character I'm planning for my book must be a complete imposter. It's one of the most important factors of the whole story.
Well, what exactly are you hoping to get from her?
Oh, jargon, principally. The tricks of the trade, if you will. I haven't been to a seance for years, and I wish to refresh my memory.
Oh, do you think she tells fortunes? I love having my fortune told.
Oh, I expect so.
Well, I was once told to hear herself say that I was surrounded by death. It worried me for days.
Oh, that was... Really all be serious, you know, and pretend we believe implicitly. Otherwise, she might not play.
Also, she might really mind. It would be very cruel to upset her.
Well, I shall be good as gold.
Have you ever attended your doctor? Professionally, I mean.
Yes, she had influenza in January, and she's been here just over a year since. I must say, though, she was singularly unsightly then. I always believed her to be an authoress.
Oh, yes. We originally met as colleagues at one of Mrs. Wilmot's Sunday evenings at Saturday.
Well, what sort of books does she write?
Oh, 2 sorts. Rather whimsical children's stories about enchanted woods filled with highly conventional flora and fauna, and enthusiastic biographies of minor royalties. Very sentimental, reverent, and extremely funny.
Here she is.
She knows, doesn't she? About tonight, you're not just going to spring on her, are you?
Well, of course, the whole thing was arranged beforehand. I told her how profoundly interested I was in anything to do with the occult, and she blossomed like a rose.
So I'm quite nervous.
You'd better go and meet her now.
I've left my scooter up against the little bush outside. It'll be perfectly alright if no one touches it.
Oh, Madame Arcadi, how nice of you to come.
Oh, my dear,
I'm afraid I'm rather late. I was in a presentiment. I was going to have a puncture, so I went back to fetch my book. And of course, I didn't have a puncture at all.
perhaps you're on the way home.
Dr. Bradman, the very gentleman.
I'm delighted to see you looking so well, Madame Arcadi. This is my wife.
We're old friends. Think I can meet at a shop.
Would you like a cocktail?
Is it a dry martini? Yes. If it's a concoction, no. Experience has taught me to be very wary of concoctions.
Then it's a dry martini.
Oh, how delicious. It was wonderful sighting through the woods this evening. I was deafened with bird
Oh,
song.
it's lovely all day.
Oh, the evening's a time. Mark my words. Ah, thank you. Yes.
Oh, don't you find it very tiring? Scooting everywhere.
On the contrary, it stimulates me. It's getting far too sedentary in London. That whole image of that dim light, they had to begin, you know. The clients expect it.
I must say, I find the scooting very exhausting.
But who say rhythm, that's what counts. Once you get the knack of it, you never need look back. Oh, you get to the way you go.
Oh, you writing anything nowadays, Madam Arcadi?
Every morning, regular as pop, 7 to 1.
Oh, is it a novel or a memoir?
It's a children's book. I have to finish it by October to catch the Christmas sales. It's mainly about very small animals. They use a mosquito.
Thank you, Edith. Shall we?
Oh, no, baby, I hope.
There's meat, but I don't think it'll be very red. Would you rather have an egg or something?
No, thank you. I just make a rule of mine, never teach red meat before I work. Sometimes there's an odd effect.
Oh, what sort of effect?
Oh, nothing of the least importance. If it isn't very red, it won't matter much. Anyhow, I won't risk it.
Oh, come along then, Madam Arcadi. Mrs. Bradley, John Charles Bright.
My control was quite scared the other day. I can hear it in her voice. After all, she's only a child.
She always have a child as control.
Oh, yes, they're generally the best. Particularly when they get to know you and understand your ways. Daphne has worked with me for years.
And she still goes on being a child. I mean, she doesn't show any signs of growing older.
Time flies on the other side. We're utterly different from ours.
Do you feel funny when you go off on a trance?
Oh, and what's my funny?
Mrs. Bradley doesn't mean funny in its comic implication. I think she meant odd or strange.
The word was an unfortunate choice.
I'm sure. I'm very sorry.
Please do not apologize. It's not bother me in the least.
When did you first discover you had these extraordinary powers?
Oh, when I was quite tiny. My mother was a medium before me, so I had every opportunity of starting on the ground floor, as one might say. I had my first strength when I was 4 years old, and my first ectoplasmic manifestation when I was 5 and a half. What an exciting day that was, I shall never forget it. Of course, the trance itself was quite short and of very short duration, but for a child of my tender years, it was most gratifying.
Your mother must have been so pleased.
Oh, she was.
Can you foretell the future?
Certainly not. I think of fortune tellers most strongly.
Oh, really?
Too
Why?
much guessing and fake stuff, and even if the guess is genuine, it only very occasionally is. You can't count on it.
Why not?
Time again. Time is the reef upon which our frailest ships are wrecked.
Maybe because it has never yet been proved that the past, the present, and the future are not one and the same thing.
Ooh, I long ago came to the conclusion that nothing has been definitively proved about anything.
How very wise.
Well, Madam Arcadi, time is drawing.
Oh, who knows? It's maybe the city.
How very wise.
Well, I hope you feel the mood, Madam Arcadi.
It isn't a question of mood, it's a question of concentration.
We must forgive us for being impatient. We can perfectly easily wait them. I'm not quite ready to start.
Nonsense, my dear, I'm absolutely ready. Hi-ho, off to work we go.
What would you like us to do?
Do.
Yes, hold hands or something.
Oh, that will come later. First, a few deep breaths of fresh air. Oh, you may all talk if you wish. It will not disturb me in the least.
Oh dear.
An excellent dinner, darling. I congratulate you.
This wasn't quite right.
Gradually looked a bit hysterical, but tasted fine.
Dr. Crew is very angry.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, I said Dr. Crew is very angry. Listen.
How can you tell?
Timber. No mood. This is what I think. This right from the marches. There is no need for me to light my student lamp there. I mean, nobody's likely to fall over it.
No, I'm not expecting anybody else.
Good night then, you foolish bird. You have a table.
Oh, yes, we thought this one would do.
The one over there will be better.
Oh, come on, brother.
Little Tommy Tucker sings for his supper, but what shall he have? Bread and butter. You know, I despise that this doesn't arrive at all, but Daphne seems to love it.
Who's Daphne?
Daphne's Madam Arcadi's control. She's a little girl.
Ah, I see.
How old is she?
Oh, rising 7 when she died.
And when was that?
February the 6th, 1884.
Poor little thing.
out to be most receptive and vulnerable in the long run.
You better take that one to heart, Dr. Bradley.
Please forgive me, Madam Party. I can assure you I'm most deeply interested.
Oh, it is of no consequence. We all sit round the table, put your hands down on it.
Mrs. Bradley?
So what about the lights?
All in due time, Mr. Congoline. Sit down, please. I presume this is the gramophone, Mr. Congoline?
Yes, it's an electric one. Do you need any help?
Please stay where you are. I can manage.
Alright.
Now, let me see. What have we here? Frog. Dear.
See the loose ones on the left.
Very none of them are very new.
Daphne's really more touched or being burned than anybody else. She likes to, she can hum. Oh, here's one. Always.
Always?
You sit down, Charles. What is the matter?
Nothing at all.
The light switch is by the door.
Oh, yes, all except for the small one on the desk and the gramophone.
Very well, I understand.
Charles, do you keep still?
Now,
Fingers touching, George. Remember what Madame Arcadi said.
one or two things I should like to explain before we begin. So you all listen attentively.
Of course.
Presently, when the music starts, I'm going to switch out the lights. I may either walk about the room or lie down flat. In due course, I shall draw up this dear little sort of line and join you at the table. I will place myself between the gentlemen and put my hands lightly upon yours. I must ask you not to move, or to address me, or to do anything the least distracting. Is that quite clear?
Perfectly.
Of course, I cannot guarantee that anything will happen at all. Daphne's had a head cold recently and has been under club. Poor child. On the other hand, a great many things may occur. One of you might have elimination, for instance, or may contact the poltergeist, which would be extremely destructive and noisy.
What's really distractive?
Oh, they throw things, you know.
No, I didn't know.
But we must cross that bridge when we come to it, mustn't we? Now then, are you all ready to empty your minds?
Do you mean we're to think of nothing?
Absolutely nothing, Dr. Bradman. Concentrate on a space or a nondescript color. That's really the best way.
Well, I'll do my damnedest.
Good luck. I will now start the music. Is there anybody there? Is there anybody there? One rap for yes, two raps for no. Now then, is there anybody there? Oh, shh! Is that you, Daphne? Oh, is your cold better, dear? Oh, I'm sorry. Are you doing anything for it? Oh, I'm afraid she's rather fretful. Is there anybody there who wishes to speak to anybody here? Ah, now we're getting somewhere. Nothing, stop! No, I didn't stop it! You said there was somebody there who wishes to speak to somebody here? Is it me? Is it Mr. Bradley? Is it Mrs. Bradley? Is it Mrs. Condamine? Oh, stop it! Behave yourself! Is it Mr. Condamine? There's somebody there who wishes to speak to Mr. Condamine.
Tell them to leave a message.
I must really ask you not to be so flippant, Mr. Condamine.
Charles, how can you be so idiotic? You spoil everything.
Sorry, it just slipped out.
Do you know anybody who's passed over recently?
Not recently, except my cousin in the civil service. And he's not likely to want to talk to me. We haven't spoken for years.
Are you Mr. Condamine's cousin in the civil service? I'm afraid we've drawn a blank.
Have it your way.
Of course not. The entire thing's a put-up job. Though I will say, she shoots a more original line than they usually do.
I just think she's probably half convinced herself by now.
Well, yes, but that, of course, is easily accounted for.
Hysteria?
Yes, a full hysteria, I should imagine.
I do hope Mr. Connemine got all the atmosphere you wanted as well.
Well, he might have gotten a great deal more if they had spoiled everything by showing off. I'm really very cross with him. Suddenly felt a draft. Is there a window open?
No, they're shut.
Well, the old girl's gone scooting off down the driveway ahead of the street. Maybe with trouble like her man.
Poor thing.
You know, I've got a theory about her. I believe that she is completely sincere.
Charles, how could she be?
Oh, would it be possible, Doctor? Some form of self-hypnosis?
I suppose it could be. Seems I was explaining to your wife, there's certain types of hysterical
George,
subjects.
darling, it's getting terribly late. We really ought to be heading home. You have to be up so early in the morning.
Women, am I right? You see, the second I start to talk about something that actually interests me, my wife goes and interrupts me.
No, I'm right, darling. It's past 11.
I'll do a little bit of reading up on the subject, just for my own fun.
You will have a drink before you go.
No, Violet's quite right. I have to get up abundantly early tomorrow. I have a patient being operated on in cancer area.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting us tonight. It's very sweet of you. I shall never forget it.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Conline.
And you're absolutely sure about that drink?
I'm quite sure, thank you.
We'll let you know if we find any poltergeists working about at any rate.
Well, I should never forgive you if you didn't.
Oh, darling.
Well, dear,
Well,
would you say this evening has been profitable?
yes, I suppose so.
I must say, it was extremely funny at moments.
Yes, it certainly was.
What's the matter?
What's the matter?
Yes, you seem old somehow. Do you feel quite well?
Perfectly. I think I'll have a drink though. You can want one?
No, thank you, dear.
It's really rather chilly in this room.
Well, come over by the fire.
I don't think I'll make any notes tonight. Stop. Oh my God!
Horrible, so
That was very clumsy, Charles, dear.
Vera, then it is true. It is you.
Of course it is.
Charles, darling Charles, what are you talking about?
Ghost.
Well, I suppose I must be. It's all rather confusing.
Charles, why do you keep looking over there before? Look at me, what's happened?
Can't you see her?
See what?
Elvira!
Elvira?
Yes, Elvira. This is Ruth. Ruth, dear. This is Elvira.
Come and sit down, darling.
You can't see her?
Listen, Charles, you just sit down quietly by the fire. I'll mix you another drink. Don't worry about the mess on the carpet. Edith can clean it up in the morning.
You must be able to see her. She's standing right there. Look.
Nothing has happened to you.
You can't see
If
her.
this is a joke, dear, it's gone quite far enough. Sit down, for God's sake, and don't be so idiotic.
What the hell am I to do?
I think you might be at least a little more pleased to see me. After all, you conjured me up.
I did nothing of the sort.
Oh, nonsense. Of course you did. That awful child with the cold came and said you wanted to see me urgently.
Some sort of mistake. Some horrible mistake.
Stop talking like that, Charles. As I told you before, the joke has gone far enough.
I know what this is. I've gone mad. I've just gone raving mad.
Drink this.
This is appalling.
Relax.
Relax? I shall never be able to relax as long as I live.
Drink some brandy.
There.
Now
Satisfied?
sit down.
What good would sitting down do?
I want you to relax, and you cannot relax standing up.
Flamingos can. They can stand up one leg for hours.
Well, I don't happen to be a
You
flamingo.
don't happen to be a what?
A flamingo.
What has that got to do with it?
Doesn't matter, Ruth. It really doesn't matter. Well, say no more about it, see? I've sat down.
Would you like some more brandy?
Yes, please.
Very unwise. You always had a weak head.
I can drink you under the table.
There was no need to be aggressive, Charles. I'm doing my best to help you.
I'm sorry.
Here, drink this, and then we'll go to bed.
Get rid of her, Charles, and we can talk in peace.
That's a thoroughly immoral suggestion. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Is there more than that?
I wasn't talking to you.
Who are you talking to then?
Elvira.
Hell with Elvira!
There now, she's getting cross.
I don't blame her.
What did you blame her for?
My God.
Well, listen here, Charles. I gather you got some sort of plan behind all this. I'm not quite the fool. I suspected you during that idiotic seance.
That's ridiculous. What sort of plan did I have?
I don't know. It's probably got something to do with the characters in your book. How good night to me if you feel like it.
Oh, that's big of her, I must say.
Be quiet! You're behaving like a gutter snipe!
This is all I have to say. Good night, Charles.
No, move! No!
Oh, that was one of the most enjoyable half hours I have ever spent.
Vera, how could you?
Oh, poor Ruth.
This is obviously a hallucination.
Well, I'm afraid I don't know the technical term for it.
Where have you come from?
Do you know, it's quite peculiar, but I've sort of forgotten.
Are you to be here indefinitely?
I don't know that either. Why? Would you hate it so much if I was?
Well, you must admit it would be embarrassing.
Well, I don't see why, really. It's all a question of adjusting yourself. And anyhow, I think it's horrid of you to be so unwelcoming and disagreeable.
Now listen here, Vera.
I do. I think you're mean.
Try to see my point a little, dear. I've been married to Ruth for 5 years, and you've been dead for 7.
Not dead, Charles. Passed over. It's considered vulgar to say that where I come from.
Pass over, then.
At any rate, now that I am here, the least you can do is make a pretense of being amiable enough.
Oh, of course, my dear. I am delighted in one way.
I don't believe you love me anymore.
I shall always love the memory of you.
You mustn't think me unreasonable, but I really am a little hurt. You called me back, and at a great inconvenience I came. You've been thoroughly churlish ever since I arrived.
Believe me, Vera, I most emphatically did not send for you.
Well, somebody did, and that child said it was you. I remember I was playing backgammon with a very sweet old gentleman. I think his name was Genghis Khan. I had just thrown double sixes when the child paged me, and the next thing I knew I was in this room. Oh, perhaps it was your subconscious.
You must find out whether you're going to stay or not, and we can make arrangements accordingly.
I don't see how I can.
Well, try to think. Isn't there anyone that you know, on the other side, past or whatever you want to call it, who could advise you?
I can't think. It seems so far away, so I dreamed it.
You must know somebody else besides Genghis Khan.
Oh, Charles!
What is it?
I want to cry, but I don't think I'm able to.
What are you going to cry for, Elvira?
It's seeing you again and you being so irascible like you always used to be.
I don't mean to be irascible, Elvira.
Darling, I don't mind really. I never did.
Is it cold, being a ghost?
No, I don't think so.
Could I touch you?
I doubt if you can. Do you want to?
Oh, Elvira!
What is it, darling?
I really do feel strange seeing you again.
Well, that's better.
What's better?
Your voice was kinder.
Was I ever unkind to you when you were alive?
Often.
Oh, how can you? I'm sure that's an exaggeration.
Oh, not at all. You were an absolute pig that time we stayed in that awful hotel at Cornwall. You hit me with a billiard cue.
Oh, only very, very gently.
I loved you very much.
I loved you too. No, can't touch you. Isn't that awful?
Perhaps it's as well if I'm going to stay for any length of time.
I suppose I'm going to wake up eventually, but I feel strangely peaceful now. Good morning, darling.
Good morning, Charles.
It certainly is.
What certainly is what?
A good morning. A tremendously good morning. The sun has come up and everything looks newly washed.
It is keeping your breakfast hot. You better ring.
Anything interesting in the advocate?
Don't be silly, Charles.
I intend to work all day.
Good.
It's extraordinary about daylight, isn't it?
How do you mean?
The way it reduces everything to normal.
Does it?
Yes, it does.
I'm sure I'm very glad to hear it.
Very glacial this morning.
Are you surprised?
Frankly, yes. I always looked upon you as a woman of perception and understanding.
Or perhaps this is one of my off days.
Let's see what I've done that's really so awful.
You behaved abominably last night. You wounded me and insulted me.
I was the victim of an aberration.
Nonsense, you were drunk.
Drunk?
You had 4 strong dry martinis before dinner, agreed with Mr. Burgundy at dinner. Heaven knows how much pork and pummel with Dr. Bradman. Well, I was stuck entertaining that mad woman, and then 2 double brandies later, drunk.
So that's your story, is it?
And when I came downstairs at 3 in the morning to see what had happened to you, I found you passed out on the sofa in an alcoholic coma with the fire out and your hair all over your face.
I was not the least drunk. Something peculiar happened to me last night. Something very peculiar happened to me.
Nonsense.
It isn't nonsense. I know it looks like nonsense now, clear, remorseless light of day. Last night, I honestly had some sort of hallucination.
I would really rather not discuss this any further.
But you must discuss it. It's very disturbing.
There, I agree with you. It showed you up in the most unpleasant light. I find that extremely disturbing.
I swear to you that during the seance, I could hear Elvira's voice.
Nobody else did.
I did. And then, later on, I was equally convinced that she was in this room. Saw her distinctly and talked to her. You know, after you had gone up to bed, we had quite a cozy little chat.
And you seriously expect me to believe that you weren't drunk?
I know what it is. You're frightened.
Frightened? Rubbish! What is there to be frightened of?
Elvira, you wouldn't have minded all that much even if I had been drunk. It's only because all this business is mixed up with Elvira.
I seem to remember last night before dinner telling you that your views of female psychology were rather pedantic. I was right. I should have added Elvira.
I think that's where it all began.
When what all began?
We're thinking too much about Elvira. It's very dangerous to have somebody strongly in your mind when you start dabbling with the occult.
Well, she wasn't strongly in my mind.
She was in mine.
Oh, she was she?
Yes. You tried to get me to say that she was more physically attractive than you so that you could hold it over me.
I did not. I never heard about how physically attractive she was.
Oh, yes, you do. Your whole being is devoured by jealousy.
This is too much.
Women. My God, when I think of women.
Your view of women is academic, to say the least of it. Just because you've always been dominated by them, it doesn't necessarily mean you know anything about them.
Oh, I've never been dominated by anyone.
You were hag-ridden by your mother until you were 23, and then you got into the clutches of that awful Mrs. Whatever her name was.
Mrs. Winthrop? Llewellyn.
I'm not interested. Then there was Elvira. She ruled you with a rod of iron.
Elvira never ruled anyone. She was much too elusive. That was one of her greatest charms. You know, come to think of it, the only woman in my entire life that has ever attempted to dominate me is you, Ruth.
That is completely untrue.
Oh, no, it isn't. You boss me and you bully me and you order me. Now, why? You won't even let me have an hallucination if I want to.
You seem to forget that you gratuitously insulted me last night.
I did not.
You called me a gutter snag. You told me to shut up. And when I quietly suggested that we went up to bed, you said, with the most disgusting leer, that it was an immoral suggestion.
I was talking to Elvira.
If you were, I can only say it conjures up a fragrant picture of your first marriage.
My first marriage was perfectly charming, and it is in the worst possible taste for you to sneer at.
I'm not nearly so interested in your first marriage as you think I am. It is your second one that is absorbing me at the moment. It seems to be on the rocks.
Please, Ruth, be reasonable.
I'm perfectly reasonable.
I honestly thought that I heard Elvira's voice, and when I did, I was appalled.
You put up with it for 5 years.
And then, when I saw her, I had the shock of my life. That's why I dropped the
But
glass.
you couldn't have seen her.
I know I couldn't have, but I did.
I'm willing to concede that. That you imagined you did.
That is what I've been trying to explain to you for hours.
You've absolutely ruined that border by the sundial. It looks like a mixed salad.
Oh my God.
What now?
Is her again?
What do you mean, who's here again?
Elvira.
It's all these petunias. They're so vulgar.
I like petunias.
You like what?
Petunias.
I mean, they look all right in moderation, but in a mass like this, they look beastly.
You've got to help me.
What did you mean about
Oh, never
petunias?
mind about that. Now I tell you, she's here again.
You've been having a nice scene, haven't you? I can hear you right down the garden.
Mind your own business.
If you behave like a lunatic, this is my business, nothing is!
No.
Oh, I expected it was about me, wasn't it? I know I have to say sorry, but I'm not. I'm delighted.
How could you be so inconsiderate?
Inconsiderate. I like that, I must say. I have done everything I can to help. I have controlled myself admirably. And I should like to say here now that I don't believe a word about your damned hallucination, Charles. You're up to something. There's been a certain furtiveness in your manner for weeks. Why don't you be honest and tell me what it is?
No, you're wrong. I haven't been in the least bit further.
You're
anybody to believe this?
You'd be surprised how gullible people are. We often laugh about it on the other side.
Charles,
Yes, dear.
I'm awfully sorry I was cross.
You are?
I understand everything now. I do, really.
You do?
Of course I do.
Ouch, she's up to something.
Be quiet.
Of course, darling. We'll all be quiet, won't we? We'll be quiet just a tiny little while.
No, Ruth.
I want you to come upstairs with me and go to bed.
The way that woman harps on bed is nothing short of
I'll
erotic.
deal with you later.
Very well, dear. Come along.
What do you want?
I don't want anything. I just want you to come upstairs quietly with me and go to bed and wait till Dr. Bradman comes.
No, you're wrong. You're dead wrong.
Come, dear. Should have you in a straitjacket before you know where you are.
Elvira, you've got to help me.
Oh, my dear, I would with pleasure, but I can't think how.
I can. Ruth, if I promise to go up to bed with you, will you let me stay here for just 5 minutes longer?
I really think it would...
Bear with me! Crazy it may seem, just bear with me for just 5 minutes longer.
Very well. What is it?
You see that bowl of flowers over on the piano?
Oh, yes, dear. I did it myself this morning.
Very entirely, if I may say so.
You may not.
Very well. I never will again. I promise.
Elvira is now going to carry that bowl of flowers from the piano to the mantelpiece and back again. You will, Elvira, won't you, just to please me?
Well, I don't see why I should. You've been nothing but inseparable to me ever since I materialized.
Please?
All right, I will. Just this once. Not that I approve of any of these shenanigans.
Now, Ruth, watch carefully.
Very well, dear.
Go on, Elvira.
Charles, I'm sorry. You must be ashamed of yourself.
You must believe me now, mustn't you?
It's a trick. I know perfectly well it's a trick. You've been working up to this. It's all part of some horrible plan.
Don't be silly.
You're trying to get rid of me. You're trying to drive me out of my mind.
No, Ruth, Elvira, help me. Do something else for God's sake.
Oh, certainly. Anything to oblige. You're cruel and sadistic, and I'll never forgive you. I won't stand for it anymore.
Mustn't you?
Let me go immediately. This is madness. Sheer madness. It's some sort of honest suggestion, isn't it? Some form of hypnotism. Swear to me, don't be mad. Swear to me, don't be mad.
Madam McCarty,
I came directly. I got your message, Mrs. Conley.
that was very kind of you.
Sorry, nonsense. Nothing fine about it. I see it as an error.
I'm so glad. Would you like any tea?
Black and green.
Black.
Good. I never have green tea. It upsets my vibrations. This place is very interesting. Very interesting indeed. I noticed it the other night.
I'm entirely surprised.
Have you ever been to Cowley Manor?
I'm afraid I haven't.
That place is very interesting as well. Strikes you like a blow between the eyes a moment you enter the drawing room. You two lumps of sugar and roll to the top.
I am profoundly disturbed, Madam Arcani. I want your help.
I got as much. Oh, what's in these sandwiches?
A cucumber.
Could it be better? Fire away.
It's most awfully difficult to explain.
Come now, take your plunge out of it. You've heard strange noises in the night, no doubt. A door slamming, boards creaking, something moaning in the passages. Is that it?
John, I'm afraid it isn't.
Those sudden gusts of cold wind, I hope.
No, it's much worse than that.
I'm all attention.
I know it sounds idiotic, but last night, during the seance, something happened.
I knew it! Probably a poltergeist. They're enormously cunning, you know. They sometimes hide all over days.
You know that my husband was previously married.
Yes, I've heard you mention.
His first wife, Elvira, died comparatively young.
Where?
Here, in this house, in this very room.
I'm beginning to see daylight.
She was convalescing after pneumonia, and one evening she started to laugh helplessly at one of the BBC musical programs, and she died of a heart attack.
And she materialized the other evening after I'm gone.
Not to me, but to my husband. From your own professional standpoint, I can see it might be regarded as a major achievement.
A triumph, my dear. Nothing more or less than a triumph.
But from my own personal point of view, it's to say the least of it, embarrassing.
At last, a genuine materialization.
Please sit down, staying at his rare.
Forgive this formality. I would like to make a report to the psychic research people.
I would be very much obliged if there were no names mentioned.
Your report will be confidential.
This is a very small village, you know. Gossip would be most undesirable.
Oh, I quite understand. You say she is visible only to your husband?
Yes.
Visible only to husband. Audible as well, I presume.
Extremely audible.
Extremely audible. Your husband was devoted to her?
I believe so.
Ooh, don't.
I beg your pardon.
When did she pass over?
7 years ago.
That means she must have been on the waiting list.
Waiting list?
Yes, otherwise she would have gone beyond materialization stage at this point. She must have put herself down for a return visit. And to be able to manage that, there must have been a strong influence at work.
Do you mean to say that Charles, my husband, wanted her back all that much?
Possibly. Or it may have been her own determination.
That sounds much more likely.
Would you say she was a woman of strong character?
I don't know, Madame Arcadi. I never met her. Nor am I particularly interested in how and why she got here. I am solely concerned with how to get her away as soon as possible.
Time has come for me to admit to you, Mrs. Condamine, I haven't the faintest idea how to set about it.
You would just sit there and tell me that mischievously conjuring up this ghost or spirit, or whatever she is, and placing me in this hideous position, that you were unable to do anything about it at all.
Oh, honesty is the best policy.
It's all very fine for you to talk like this, Madame Arcadi. You don't seem to have the faintest realization of my position.
Try to look on the bright side.
Bright side, indeed. If your husband's first wife rose from the grave and came to live in a house with you, do you suppose you'd be able to look at the bright side?
I resent your tone, Miss Condamine, I really do.
You most decidedly have no right to.
Kindly remember that I came here the other night on your own invitation.
On my husband's invitation.
I did what I was requested to do, which was to give a seance and establish contact with the other side. I had no idea there was any ulterior motive mixed up in it.
Ulterior motive?
Your husband was obviously eager to get in touch with his former wife. If I had been made aware of that fact at the time, I would have naturally consulted you beforehand. After all, noblesse oblige.
He had no intention of getting in touch with anyone. This entire thing was planned in order for him to get material for a mystery novel he's writing about a homicidal medium.
Am I to understand I was only invited here in the spirit of mockery?
Not at all. He merely wanted to make notes of some of the tricks of the trade.
Tricks of the trade! Oh, insufferable! I have never been more insulted in my life. I can make nothing more to say to each other, Miss Condamine. Goodbye!
Please.
Your attitude from the outset has been most unpleasant, Miss Condamine. Some of the remarks you made have been discourteous in the extreme, and I should like to say, without some bridge, that if you and your husband were foolish enough to have one the unseen for paltry motives in a spirit of repartee, whatever has happened to you is your own fault. And to coin a phrase as far as I'm concerned, you can steal your own juice.
Damn.
What on earth is Madame Arcadi doing here?
She came to tea.
Did you ask her?
Of course I did.
You never told me you were going to ask her.
You never told me you were going to ask Elvira to live with us.
I didn't.
Oh, yes, you did, darling. It was your subconscious.
What was the old girl so cross about? She nearly cut me dead.
I told her the truth about the other night and why we invited her.
It was most unnecessary and quite unkind.
She needed taking down a bit. She was blowing herself out like a powder pigeon.
Why did you ask her to tea?
To give me exercise, of course. Oh, dear, I wish I could have a cucumber sandwich. I did love them so.
Is that true, Ruth?
Is what true?
What Elvira said.
You know perfectly well I can argue what Elvira says.
Elvira said that you got Madame Arcadi here to try to get her exercise. Is that true?
We discussed the possibilities.
There's a snake in the grass for you.
You had no right to do such a thing without consulting me first.
I had every right. This entire situation is impossible and you know it.
If only you'd made an effort to be a little bit more friendly to Elvira, we might all have quite a jolly time.
I have no wish to have a jolly time with Elvira.
She's certainly very bad-tempered, isn't she? I can't think why you married her.
She's naturally a bit upset. Maybe you must make allowances.
I was never bad-tempered, though, was I, darling? Not even when you were beastly to me.
Oh, I was never beastly to you.
Where is Elvira at this moment?
It's on the couch.
Now look here, Elvira. I shall have to call you Elvira, shan't I? I can't very well go on saying Mrs. Condamine, it would sound too silly.
Well, I don't see why.
What did she say?
She said she would like nothing more.
You're sweet, Charles, darling. I worship you.
I wish to be absolutely honest with you, Elvira.
Oh, hold on to your hats, boy.
I admit I did ask Madame Arcadi with a view to getting you
Nothing. She just nodded and smiled.
It's very generous of you, Elvira. I would really so much rather there were no disagreements between us.
Oh, that's very sensible, Ruth. I agree entirely.
I want, before we go any further, to ask you a frank question. Why did you come here? I can't expect that you would have hoped to get anything by it, beyond the immediate joke of making Charles into some sort of acid wittiness.
I came because the power of Charles's love tugged and tugged and tugged at me. Didn't it, my sweet?
She says she came because she wanted to see me again.
Well, she's done that now, hasn't she?
We can't be inhospitable, Ruth.
I have no wish to be inhospitable, but I should like to know just how long you intend to stay, Elvira.
I don't know. I really don't know. Wasn't it awful?
She says she doesn't know.
Surely that's a little inconsiderate.
Didn't the old spiritualist have any constructive ideas about getting rid of me?
What did Madame Arcade say?
Said you're gonna do a thing.
Hooray!
It's all right, Ruth. So soon adjust ourselves, you know. It is a unique experience, you must admit. You can't see no reason why we shouldn't get a great deal of fun out of it.
Oh, Charles, how can you? You must be out of your mind.
Well, I thought I was at first, but now I must say that I am beginning to enjoy myself.
Charles! Charles!
Off again.
Oh, you must really not be so careless, Elvira.
I suppose she said something insulting.
Oh, no, nothing of the sort.
Now look here, Elvira!
She's by the window now.
Why the hell did you say the same words?
Come here again, my poor Charles. What a horrible life you must lead.
Do shut up, darling. You will make everything worse.
Who was that addressed to? Her or me?
Both of you.
This is horrible!
Both!
Oh, let her go. She'll calm down later on.
It's unlike her to behave like this. She's generally so equable.
No, she isn't. Not really. Her mouth gives her away. It's a hard mouth, Charles.
Her mouth has got nothing to do with it. You know, I resent you discussing my wife as though she were a horse.
Do you love her?
Of course I do.
As much as you love me?
Oh, don't be silly. It's all entirely different.
Oh, I'm so glad. Nothing could have ever been quite the same, could it?
You always behaved very badly.
Charles.
I'm grieved to see that your sojourn in the afterworld hasn't improved you in the least.
Go on, darling. I love it when you pretend to be cross with me.
I am now going up to talk to Ruth.
Cowardy custard.
Oh, don't be idiotic. You can't just let her leave like that.
Well, I don't see why. If she's set on being disagreeable, I should just let her get on with it.
You must try to be a little less sympathetic to her. This whole experience has been a shock.
Has it been a shock for you too, darling?
Of course. What did you expect?
A nice shock?
What do you want, Elvira?
What? I don't know what you mean.
I remember that whenever you were overpoweringly demure, you meant that you wanted something.
It's horrid of you to be so suspicious. All I want is to be with you.
Well, you are.
I mean alone, darling. If you go and pamper Ruth and smarm her over, she'll probably come flouncing down again, and our lovely quiet evening together will be spoiled.
You're incorrigibly selfish.
Well, I haven't seen you for 7 years. It's only natural that I should want a little alone time with you to talk over old times.
I'm now going up to talk to Ruth.
You won't be long, will you? You'll come down again very soon.
I shall probably dress for dinner.
Darling, you don't have to dress for me.
I always dress for dinner.
What are you going to have? I shall like to watch you eat something really delicious.
Be a good girl now. You can play the gramophone or something.
Thank you, Charles.
Does it show any signs of clearing?
No, it's still pouring.
I do sympathize with you, really I do. It's been quite a chapter of unfortunate accidents, hasn't it?
It certainly has.
That happens sometimes, you know. Everything seems to go wrong at once. Exactly as though there were some evil forces at work.
You're sure you wouldn't like a cocktail or some sherry or anything?
No, thank you, really not. George will be down in a minute, and we've got to go like lightning. We were supposed to be at the Woolbits at 7, and it's nearly that now.
I think I'll have a little sherry. I feel like it.
Don't worry about your husband's arm, Mrs. Conrad. I'm sure it's only a sprain.
It's not his arm I'm worried about.
I'm sure poor Edith will be up and about again in a few days.
Nothing to worry about, Mrs. Conrad. It's only a slight strain.
I'm so relieved.
Yes, you made a great deal of fuss when I examined them. Men are much worse patients than women, particularly highly strung men like your husband.
Is he really strong, you think?
Yes, in fact, I wanted to talk to you about that. I'm afraid he's been overworking lately.
Overworking?
Yes, he's in a nervous condition. Nothing serious, you
What
understand?
makes you think so?
Oh, I know the symptoms. Of course, the sharpest fall might have something to do with it, but I should advise a complete rest for the next couple of weeks.
You think he ought to go away?
I do. In cases like this, a change of atmosphere can work wonders.
Thank you, Doctor. Would you like some sherry?
No, thank you. We must be off.
Oh, how is poor Edith?
Oh, Edith will be fine in a few days. She's just recovering from a concussion.
It is funny, isn't it? That both your housemaid and your husband should fall on the same day.
Yes, if you find that sort of thing amusing.
Of course, I didn't mean it like that, Mrs. Conrad.
Oh, well, how's it feel?
All right.
It's only a slight sprain, you know?
Is this damn sling really essential?
It's a wise precaution. It will keep you from using your left arm except when absolutely
I
necessary.
had intended to drive to Folkestone this evening.
Well, it would be much better if you didn't.
It's extremely inconvenient.
You can easily wait and go tomorrow, Charles.
I can't stand another one of those dreary evenings at home, Charles. It will drive me naughty, and I haven't seen a movie for 7 years.
Well, let me be the first to congratulate you.
What's that, old man?
Charles, dear, please be sensible. I implore you.
Sorry, I forgot.
All right. You can drive the car if you promise to go very slowly and carefully. Your gear changes on the right, isn't it?
Yes.
Use your left arm as little as possible.
All right.
You'd much better stay at home.
Couldn't you drive it?
I'm afraid not. I have lots to do in this house, and there is Edith to be attended to.
Well, I'll leave you to find out amongst yourselves. But remember, if you do insist on going, and carefully does it, the roads are slippery anyhow. Come along, Violet.
Goodbye again. Goodbye, Mr. Conrad.
You really are infuriating, Elvira. Surely you can wait and go to the movies another night. And stop behaving like a schoolgirl. You're old enough to know better.
What?
I was talking to Elvira.
She isn't here.
She was a moment ago. She threw a rose at me.
She's been very high-spirited all afternoon. I was cold. And she was up to something.
You're sure she isn't here?
Yes, absolutely.
I want to talk to you.
God.
I must. It's important.
Listen, Ruth. I grant you that you have behaved well the past 2 days. You aren't going to start making scenes again, are you?
I resent that air of patronage, Charles. I have behaved well, as you call it, but only because there has been nothing left to do. But I feel I must offer no guarantee for the future. My patience is being stretched to its uttermost.
How do you mean? In what way?
This is a fight, battle. This is a fight, Charles. A duel to the death between Elvira and me. Can't you see that?
Melodramatic hysteria.
It is a melodramatic hysteria. Don't you realize that?
No, I don't. You're jealous. Jealousy causes people to have the most curious delusions.
I am making every effort not to lose my temper with you right now, Charles. But I must say, you are making it increasingly difficult for me.
Always talk of battles, duels.
She came here with one purpose and one purpose only. And if you can't see it, you're bigger fool than I thought you.
What purpose could she have beyond a natural desire to see me again? We must remember that she was very attached to me.
Her purpose is perfectly obvious. It is to get you to herself forever.
Oh, that's ridiculous. How could she?
By killing you off, of course.
Killing me off? You're mad.
Why do you suppose Edith got on the stairs and cracked her skull?
What's Edith got to do with
Because
it?
the whole top of the staircase was covered with acid grease. Cook discovered it afterwards.
You're making this up, Ruth.
I'm not, I swear I'm not. And why do you suppose when you were lopping the dead branch off the pear tree that the ladder broke? Because that had been sawed through on both sides.
She couldn't be so vile, so wicked. She couldn't.
Couldn't you just?
I grant you that as a character she was always light and irresponsible, but I never believed her capable of love, cunning.
Perhaps the spirit world has deteriorated
Oh,
her.
Ruth.
Don't you see now?
What to do?
You're not to let her know that we suspect a thing. Behave perfectly ordinary, as though nothing has happened. I'm going to Madame Arcadi immediately. I don't care how crushed she is, she's got to help us. Even if she can't get rid of Elvira, she must know some technical method of righting her harmless. I will be back in half an hour. Tell Elvira I'm going to see the vicar.
This is appalling.
Never mind about that. Remember now, don't give yourself away by so much as a flick of an eyelid.
Oh, look out!
What?
I merely said it's a nice lookout.
What's a nice lookout?
The weather, Elvira. The The glass is going down, 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 and down. It's positively macabre.
I find it difficult to believe that you and Ruth, at this particular moment, can't think of anything more interesting to talk about than the weather.
I can't stand this anymore. Really, I can't.
Has she broken out again?
What did she say?
She has to be broken out again.
How dare you talk like that, Elvira?
Ruth.
Charles and I were not talking about the weather, Elvira, as you so shrewdly suspected. I should loathe you to think that we would have any secrets from you. And so, I will explain exactly what we were talking about. I was trying to convince Charles not to drive you to Folkestone this evening. It would be very bad for his arm, you know. But, as it seems you place your desires before mine in everything, I'm sure you should both enjoy yourselves.
Oh, no, Ruth.
Oh, Charles, have you been beastly to her?
No. She doesn't like being thwarted any more than you do.
She's a woman of sterling character. It's a pity she's so ungiving.
As I mentioned before, I would rather not discuss Ruth with you. It makes me uncomfortable.
Then I won't mention her again. Are you ready?
Ready for what?
To go to Folkestone, of course.
I want a glass of sherry first.
I don't believe you want to take me at all.
Oh, of course I do. You've been waiting on a minute, can't you?
Very well.
Besides, I won't be back for another half an hour. At least.
What do you mean?
I was taking it.
What?
You won't see the vicar, but she won't be long.
You say Ruth has taken the car?
Yes.
Oh my God!
What's the matter?
Stop her! You must stop and stop her at once!
Why? Before?
Stop her! Just go on and stop her immediately!
What are you in such a state for?
I'm not a mistake. I don't know what you mean.
You're lying.
I'm not lying. What's there to lie about?
The car. You've done something to the car.
No, I haven't. I swear I haven't.
This is why you're trying to kill me.
No, no!
Hello? Yes, I can see. The bridge at the bottom of the hill. I'll come at once. No, thank you.
Well, of all the filthy, low-down tricks, stop it, Ruth! Quit it! Leave me alone! I'm sorry, leave me alone!
My dear Madame Arcati.
I hope you don't consider this an intrusion, Mr. Condamine.
Oh, please have a seat.
Thank you.
Would you like some coffee or liquor?
Thank you. I had to come, Mr. Condamine.
That's very nice of you.
I thought you meant third, that I thought you wouldn't, and so I hopped on my scooter and here I am.
Very kind of you.
No, not at all. It was my duty. I put strongly. I let myself get into a huff the other day with the late wife. I drove all the way home in a grip of temper. I've perfected it ever
Oh,
since.
never mind.
I do mind. I cannot help it. I mind every fiber of my being. I've also been thinking very carefully. I've been reading up a great deal these past few dreadful days. I gather that we are alone.
My first wife is not in the room. She is upstairs. The funeral exhausted her. I would assume that my second wife is with her, but I have no way of knowing for certain.
You've remarked no difference in the texture of your first wife since the accident.
No, she seems much the same. A trifle under the weather, perhaps. A little low-spirited, but that is all.
Well, that washes that out.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
Oh, just a little theory I had. In the 19th century, there was a pretty widespread belief that a ghost who participated in the death of a human being disintegrated automatically.
How do you know that Elvira was in any way responsible for Ruth's death?
It came to me last night, Mr. Condamine. It came to me in a lightning flash. I had just finished up my Ovaltine and turned out the lights when I shot him to bed with a great cry. Great Scott, I said! Hard right! I then started to put two and two together. At 3 in the morning with my great valley seething, I began to work on my crystal orbit. But it wasn't very satisfactory. Cloudy,
I would be very much obliged if you kept any theories you have regarding my wife's death to yourself, Madame Arcot.
My one desire is to help you, Mr. Condamine. I feel I have been dreadfully remiss over this whole situation. Not totally remiss, but untimely.
I'm afraid there's nothing whatever to be done.
No. Don't get on your high horse. There's no need in that, is there? I'm the formulator that I think will get rid of her without her
Allow me to introduce my first wife, Elvira.
Oh, how do you do?
What does she want, Charles? Send her away!
What part of the room is she in at the moment?
She's moving about rather rapidly. I'll tell you when and where she settles.
Well, she's the one who got me here in the first place, isn't she?
Yes?
Oh, well, please tell her to get me back again immediately. I can't stand it in this house another minute.
I'm surprised at you.
I don't care how surprised you are. I'm sick of this whole thing. I want to go home.
Don't be childish,
I'm
Elvira.
not being childish. I mean it.
Interesting. Very interesting. I smell ectoplasm strongly.
What a disgusting thing to say.
Oh, where is she now?
She's over by the couch.
Oh, are you happy, my dear?
A silly old bitch to mind her own business.
It's only difficult. Are you weary?
She's dotty.
Madam Arthur.
Oh, this is wonderful. Wonderful.
Please tell her to go into the other room, Charles. I've got to talk to you.
Madam Arthur.
Just a moment. I was a contact. I can sense the vibrations. Oh, this is magnificent.
Come on, Elvira. Don't be a spoilsport. Give her a bit of encouragement.
If you'll promise to get her into the other room.
All right?
Oh, yes, yes. Again.
What's that?
First rate. Oh, this really is first rate. Absolutely stunning.
I'm so glad you're pleased.
Tell her to go into the other room, Charles. I've got to talk to you. We're going to be in a minute.
Would you think it most frightfully rude if I asked you to go to the dining room for a moment? My first wife wishes to speak to me alone.
Oh, must I? It's so lovely being in an actual room with her.
Oh, only for a few minutes. I promise she'll be here when you return.
Very well. Hand me the bag while he was on the couch. Oh, you darling! You little darling!
How good is she really?
I don't know.
Do you really think she can get me back again?
Honestly, Elvira.
Stop it. You're behaving smug and supercilious.
Horrible thing to say.
This whole thing has been a failure. A miserable, dreary failure. What high hopes I started out with.
You can't expect much sympathy from me, you know. I am well aware that your highest hope was to murder me.
Oh, don't put it like that. It sounds so beastly.
It is beastly. It's one of the beastliest ideas I've ever heard.
There was a time when you had welcomed the idea of being with me forever and ever. Whatever, rub it in. Anyhow, this all happened because I love you. The silliest thing I ever did in my whole life was to love you. You were always unworthy of me.
That remark comes perilously near impertinence, Elvira.
I sat there, just longing for you day after day. I did, really. Oh, through your affair with that brassy-looking woman on the South of France, I went on loving you, thinking truly of you. Then you married Ruth, and even then I forgave you because I believed deep inside that you really loved me best. That's why I went down a return visit and had to fill out all those forms and quit about in the drafting passages for hours. If only you had died before you met Ruth, everything might have been all right. But she's absolutely ruined you. I've not been in the house a day before I realized that. And your books aren't a quarter as good as they used to be.
Well, that is entirely untrue. Ruth helped me and encouraged me with my work, which is a damn sight more than you ever did.
That's probably what's wrong with it.
Looking back at our married years, Elvira, I can see now with horrid clarity that they were nothing short of a mockery.
You invite mockery, Charles. It has something to do with your personality, I think. A certain seedy grandeur.
Oh, once and for all, Elvira.
Oh, you never suspected it. But I laughed at you steady all the way from the altar to the grave, all your ridiculous petty jealousies and your fussings and
Oh,
fumings.
it's a pity you didn't tell me so at the time.
I did, but you wouldn't listen. You know what? That's why I went out on the moors that day with Captain Graysborough.
You swore to me that you'd gone over to see your aunt in Exeter.
It was the moors.
With Captain Bracegirdle?
Oh, with Captain Graysborough.
Oh, I should have known. What a fool I was. What a blind fool. Did he make love to you?
But of course.
Oh, Elvira.
Only very discreetly. He was in the cavalry, you know.
Well, all I can say now is that I am well rid of you.
Unfortunately, you're not.
Oh, yes, I am. You're dead, and Ruth's dead. I shall sell this house, lock, stock, and barrel, and move away.
Well, I shall follow you.
I'll go a long way away. I'll go to South America. You'll hate it. You always
Home?
Wherever she came from.
Oh, you don't think she'd like to stay a few days longer? While I get things more organized?
No. I'd like to go now.
Ooh, I can come with beer with her. Ooh, I can bring my crystals.
Forbid.
She wants to go now, Madam Archer. Please strain every nerve. Make every effort. You said something about a formula. What is it?
Well, if you insist.
I most emphatically do insist.
Oh, Charles.
Just a little verse, really. Found use in the 17th century. I shall read a pepper and salt.
No, just something.
Oh, also a table.
I'll get that as well.
Now, let me see. In the old days, they had a short water for them too, but I think I can manage without.
How's this one?
Oh yes, that one's fine. Here, take these. Sprinkle it through you just as you saw it, right in the middle. Here. Now, you stop dragging out of that face. Good job.
This is going to be a flop. I can tell you that here and now. Martha does all the sort of thing at parties and courses. I'll stick with it.
In the old days, they used to use the deeper ring pipes. We ought to use the same mechanism before, I think.
Well, I'll get it.
Whatever you think best, Madam Archer.
Don't start at my idea. Now, just to concubine, could you sit around the table, please, and put your hands down on it? But don't put your fingers in the pepper. I shall put the lights on myself. Oh, just I knew forgotten. One triangle here, one half circle here, and a little dot. There.
This is a waste of time. She's a complete fake.
Anything's worth trying.
I'm as eager for it to succeed as you are. Don't make any mistake about that. But I'll lay you 10 to 1. It's a dead failure.
Now, if your wife would be kind enough to lie down on the sofa.
Go on, Elvira.
This is sheer nonsense. Don't blame me if I get the giggles.
Concentrate. Think of nothing.
Yes, that's right. Quite right. Hands at the side, legs extended, breathing steadily. 1, 2, 1, 2. Is she comfortable?
Are you comfortable, Elvira?
No.
She's quite comfortable.
I shall join you in a moment, Mr. Condamine. I may have to go to a slight trance, but if I do, pay no attention. Now, first, the music and away we go!
Oh dear, it's the pepper.
Hold on to yourself, concentrate. Ghostly spectral ghoul of fiend, never more be thou convened. Shepherd's watch, holy right, banished into the night.
A disagreeable little bird.
Quiet, Elvira.
Is there anybody there? Is there anybody there? 1 rap for yes, 2 raps for no. Down then! Is there anybody there? Oh, Roger Dodger. Is that you, Daphne? Oh, did you hear me? Oh, can you help us? Oh, I'm just about to lie. Oh, start to break away!
more exhausted.
It will be daylight soon.
That has always irritated me. It strikes far too slowly.
It was a wedding present from Uncle Walter.
Who's Uncle Walter?
And Varys.
Well, I can say he might have chosen something a little more decorative.
If that really were all you can say, Ruth, I'm sure it would be a great comfort to us all.
You can be as rude as you like, Elvira. I don't mind a bit. As a matter of fact, I should be very surprised if you wore it.
Why?
The reply to that is really too obvious.
Would you two please stop bickering for just 1 minute?
This is most definitely one of the most frustrating nights I have ever spent.
The reply to that is pretty obvious, too.
I don't know what you mean. Seriously. Well, as we have all agreed that Elvira and I are dead, it would be best for us to dematerialize as soon as possible. That, I admit, we have allowed ourselves to be subjected to the most humiliating hocus pocus for hours and hours without complaining.
I'm just as exhausted as you. I've had to do all the damn table tapping, remember?
If she can't get us back, she can't, and that's that. We shall have to think of something else.
She must get you back. Anything else is unthinkable.
Oh, there's gratitude for you.
Gratitude?
Yes, for all the years we've been devoted to you. You ought to be ashamed.
What about all the years I've devoted to you?
Nonsense. We've waited about you hand in what happened to you, Ruth. You're exceedingly selfish and always were.
In that case, I fail to see why you were both so anxious to get back to me.
You called us back, and you have done nothing but try and get rid of us ever since we came. Hasn't he, Elvira?
He certainly has.
And now, owing it to your idiotic inefficiency, we find ourselves in the most mortifying position. We are neither fish, flesh, nor fowl, nor whatever it is.
Good red hair.
It can't be.
Well, why don't you do something about it? Why don't you go back on your
No
own?
use to arguing anymore. Wake up, Madame Arcadi.
Oh, not another seance. Please, not another seance.
Wake up, Madame Arcati.
Shake her.
I'd upset her.
I don't care if it kills her.
Wake up, Madame Arcati.
What time is it?
5:10.
What time did I go off?
Over an hour ago.
Curious. Very curious. Give me a moment. I would like to make note of this for my diary. Are they still here?
Yes.
How disappointing.
Have you any suggestions?
Oh, we mustn't give up hope. Chin up, never been. That's why I got
This
hope.
schoolgirl phraseology is driving me mad.
Now then.
Now then what?
What do you say we have another seance? Really put our shoulders to the wheel this time. Make it a real rouser. For God's sake, not another seance.
Madame Arcati, don't you think that perhaps we've had enough seances? After all, they haven't really achieved much, have they?
Oh, Rome wasn't built in a day, you know.
I know it wasn't.
Well then, cheer up. Away with melancholy.
Now, Madame Arcati, before you go off into any further trances, I really think we ought to discuss the situation a little.
Fire away.
Well, my wives and I have been talking, and they are both equally convinced that I, somehow or another, called them back.
Very much.
I am convinced that I did not.
Love is a strong psychic force, Mr. Carnivine. And true love can encompass the universe.
I'm sure it can, but I must express to you, frankly, that although my affection for both Ruth and Elvira is of the warmest, I cannot truthfully feel it comes under the heading that you describe.
You may not know your own strength, Mr. Carnivine.
I did not send for them, either consciously or subconsciously.
But Mr.
That's
Carnivine,
my final word on the subject.
neither of them could have appeared in this house unless there had been somebody, a psychic somebody, who had wished for them.
It wasn't me.
Perhaps it was Dr. Brandon. No, I never knew he cared. I believe I've been walking up the wrong trail. The Sudbury case.
When it isn't Sudbury case, I don't understand.
Oh, there's no reason why you shouldn't. It was before your time. I wonder. Ooh, I wonder.
What is this Sudbury case? I wish you would explain.
It was the case that made me famous, Mr. Carnivine. It was what you might describe as theatrical violence as my first smash hit. I had letters from all over the world about it, especially in the,
What did you do?
I dematerialized old Lady Sudbury after she'd been firmly entrenched in a private chapel for over 17 years.
How? Can you remember how?
Jackson, a flip! It happened on the merest coincidence.
What chat? What fluke?
Wait, now let me see. Who was here during our first seance?
Only the Bradmans, me, Ruth, and yourself.
The Bradmans were here last night, were they? Bring me a microscope. That's the thing. It gives me a pip. It's cloudy again.
me is the most amusing coincidence. Now then, would you ask your wives to stay close together, please?
Where?
Oh, over there by you.
Ruth, Elvira.
I resent you being ordered about like this.
I don't like this. I don't like it at all. I feel peculiar.
I'm afraid I must insist.
It would serve you right if you flatly refused to do anything at all.
Are you sorry for being so mischievous, Edith?
Oh, yes, madam.
You know we have to do now, don't you, Edith?
Yes.
Oh, Charles, I believe it's going to work, whatever it is. This is goodbye, Charles.
Tell her to stop for a minute. There's something I'd like to say before I go.
You should have thought of that before. It's too late now.
Of all the mean and gracious. I'll be loving you always with the love that's true. I saw Captain Grace gurgling in, Charles, several times. I went with them twice to the 400 while you were in Nottingham. Well, I must say, I couldn't have enjoyed it more.
Don't think you're getting rid of us quite so easily, my dear. You may not be able to see us, but we shall be here all right. I consider that you have behaved atrociously over the whole miserable business, and I should like to say here and now.
Splendid! Throbbing! No, that's enough singing for now, Edith.
Shall I put on the lights?
Oh, no, I won't.
They've gone! They've really gone!
Oh, yes, I think we've really pulled it off this time.
You better wake her up. She might bring them back again.
Wake up, Charles!
Good heavens, where am I?
It's all right.
Why is it morning?
Yes, I know it is.
How's it been? I'm looking on you.
I rang. Yes, I rang the bell and you answered it, didn't I, Madam Harper?
Oh dear, do you think that's my concussion? I must have jumped it off or something.
No, it's quite all right, Edith. And thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, sir, what of the poor?
What on earth do you think she meant by that?
Oh, golly! What's a night? I'm ready to drop my tracks.
Would you like to stay here? There's the spare room, you know.
Oh, no, thank you, but heed my advice, Mr. Condivine,
Yes?
and leave this place immediately.
What? You don't mean that?
This must be an unhappy house for you. There must be memories both grave and gay in every corner of it.
Also what?
There are more things in heaven and earth, Mr. Condivine. Go. Just go. Pack your traps and leave as soon as
Do
possible.
you mean to say that they might still be here?
Keep so hay, as the Spanish say.
I wonder. I shall take your advice, Madam Arcati.
Goodbye, Mr. Condivine. It's been fascinating from first to last. Fascinating. Oh, do you mind if I have a sandwich for the road?
By all means.
Oh, no need to follow me out. I can find my way. Cheerio once more, and good hunting.
Ruth? Elvira? Are you there? Ruth! Elvira, I know damn well that you're there. Look, I just want to say that I'm going away. I'm going a long way away. Somewhere where I don't believe you'll be able to follow me. Despite what Elvira says, I don't think spirits are able to travel over water. Is that quite clear, my darlings? You said in one of your more acid moments, Ruth, that I have been hag-ridden all my life. How right you were. Now I'm free, Ruth dear, not only of Elvira and Mrs. Winthrop Llewellyn and Mother, but free of you too. I shall like to say that I am going to enjoy myself as I've never enjoyed myself before. You were very silly, Elvira, to think that I didn't know about you and Captain Greyskirtle. I did. But what you didn't know is that I was extremely attached to Apollo Westlake at the time. I was reasonably faithful to you, but I doubt that would have lasted much longer. It would be becoming increasingly domineering, you know, and there's nothing more off-putting than that, is there? I'm sure we're bound to meet again one day, darlings, but until we do, I'm going to enjoy myself as if I had never enjoyed myself before. You can break up the house as much as you'd like. I'm leaving it anyhow. Think kindly of me. Send out good thoughts. Persevere. Go. Goodbye again, my darlings. Such sweet sorrow.